Welcome my friends to Infinite Conquest. That's right, I was not able to stream every single Infinite Ticket run that I made this season, so we're coming here bespoke to YouTube with our running the, what I am lovingly calling my better cards deck. This is the good cards archetype revolving around Zabu and Hawk, but then juiced up with the brand new Captain Marvel, giving us this flexibility, a proactive card that I can play in the mid game without having to commit too much to my strategy. She has the flexibility of repositioning at the end, and that flexibility is just wonderful. It takes a lot of stress off on the final turns trying to make calls as to where your opponent is going. You can just play into the Captain Marvel to try and free her up to reposition and then take that mental strain off of predicting where the opponent is going. We have the Black Bolt and Stature at the high end, and then the Spider Ham to be able to take out yet another card from the opponent's hand, really looking to be able to attack their hand size, then run other forms of control. Their combos are also slightly broken up because of all the rocks that we have the potential of giving them. I love this setup, even though having the location control with the Legion feels really strong as well. There's a lot of different substitutions that you can make to try and be able to adapt the good cards archetype. Here, we're both snapping. My opponent looking at their read of being ahead with the Hulks and then dropping Vision on the Shuri at the throne room. Doubled and then doubled again, being the largest card. Because I have the Shang Chi, I have the confidence of rolling in here, and nothing in my opponent's deck gives me any idea that they would be able to affect Bar with no name. This is just a race, and I am erasing 36 power of Hulks with this Shang Chi. I keep on waffling throughout the match, trying to figure out if the opponent is running the Phoenix Force or just straight move. And you're gonna have to let me know in the comments below what you guys think this is, because they do show the Shuri, but then everything else they show is just a move. And here, the Hulk Buster lands on the Vision, doubled yet again to a 42 power Vision. I would have done better trying to line up the Shang-Chi to the Vision. The Rock is just there to give me a heart attack on the Bar with no name. We kill the 36 power of the Hulks. We race, margin of victory barely in our favor. 8 cube win, and my opponent doesn't fancy running back 2 health to 10, so we're on to round 2, and we find ourselves facing off against a Dino Hawk deck. I have a lot of respect for this list. It's running the X Factor card creation in the Agent Coulson. They got the Mirage, they have the extra energy efficiency of Quinjet. They're going to show Zabu later on. In this first matchup, we're playing pretty cagey, both of us, just trying to feel out the opposing deck, and we end up in a very awkward hand position, not being able to combo any form of multiple cards together. We can only drop a single card. They don't have anything vulnerable to the Shang-Chi, and we are feeling pretty weak. I might have actually played it out for the 2 cubes to be able to see any extra information as to the opponent's deck, but they snap, giving us a easy decision on retreating there. Round 2, and we are looking at an advantage for us, having used Shang-Chi to clear their Gamma Lab. I know that I have picked out version of Red Skull in their hand, and it's a call as to going all in on Mojo World or Sokovia to be able to match the opponent. I have a good feeling about playing left, especially with the Captain Marvel, with the flexibility of being able to reposition in case the opponent alters the game plan and throws a Shang-Chi on right. The opponent makes the call to go mid, and we take 4 cubes to the advantage. The next game is completely dominated by Elysium, giving energy efficiency, and then White Hot Room, which my opponent does win, allowing them to burst onto the board in turn 5, but then they have the Sandman to bake in their advantage. Normally filling up these locations entirely is an enormous detriment to you when you're playing in Snap, and especially taking initiative when I'm holding these control cards in the Hawk. But because the Sandman is locking me to just a single card here, I'm going to give my opponent a brilliancy on this one in the advantage and the game construction, how they integrated the Sandman, who was just created by the Agent Coulson. They snap very late though, and I'm able to retreat just for 1 cube. Next game, stop me if you've seen this before, my combos have been broken up by drawing multiple rocks. The opponent has played very smoothly and on curve throughout the entire match, even integrating a Stegron created by Agent Coulson yet again. They have the energy efficiency of the Quinjet, the Zabu. They haven't shown what the Mirage card is yet, and I just am not happy. Again, I'm able to retreat for 1. You could identify this maybe as a mistake on my opponent, not pressing their advantage as much as they could, but you could also just see it as I am playing them close enough that they are giving me the respect and not snapping earlier. Our next match with Kiln in the middle is the central feature. Asteroid M keeps on pulling away everything else from my deck. I'm only able to get the Zabu and Korg to stick matching their Zabu. They Moon Girl very early, and then they play double Sentinel to be able to get those to stick and have the advantage at Kiln. With the Iron Lad there, I was really fishing for my Captain Marvel. I don't find her. Black Bolt knocks the Sentinel out of their hand, activates our Stature combo, and they show Devil Dinosaur. Now, I am able to cancel that with the Shang Chi that we draw right here, but then I'm just down to Stature and Spider-Ham to play on right, and I don't have faith in these 8 points being able to match what the opponent can do here with, again, the energy efficiency of the Zabu and everything else that they have been able to construct. So this is a retreat for us, this time for 2 cubes, with the raised stakes that we're looking at here later on in the match. We're actually playing from behind now. We've taken multiple losses all in a row. Thank goodness we were able to capitalize on the one game we did win for 4. Here, we're rolling into a match where we just had an incredible early game. Killmonger was able to knock off their Korg and their Quinjet, and we have the Zabu set up for a good mid-game. Great hand to be able to finish out. They do show Mirage here, meaning they could have a souped-up Rhino or a souped-up Captain Marvel. All these cards are buffed because of the Wakandan Embassy, and we are in a tight spot. With the snaps back and forth, we're up to 4 cubes. The final's up to 5. That's the entire run for us. We're going to throw Jeff on left to be able to just edge out our opponent. Hawk plays to the right to the open location, and then a vacated location, and then we've got the Captain Marvel to be able to follow up. If Hawk is able to free her to reposition to lend aid, the left calls for aid, Jeff calls for aid, then she would be able to swing things in our favor. The opponent shows their own Captain Marvel at a 9 power, a larger Hawk than mine as well, and incredibly, even though my opponent developed more points on board total, we edged them out because of the tight margins and the fact that Captain Marvel repositioning would actually cause them to lose the leftmost lane. My opponent didn't give her the freedom to reposition and just dropped her down as a stat stick. My opponent surrenders at this point, not fancying the comeback from 1 cube. So they won 3 or 4 matches there in the middle, and I won 2. But because we were more intelligent in our snapping and retreating than our opponent, we were able to still take the match. The fundamentals pulled out. Round 3 Infinite Conquest. I quickly realized that I'm playing up against the Destruction deck. Then Lamentis. This is game 1. We have, normally, Lamentis is suicide for this deck, but Lamentis surgically removed Hawk and Rock Slide, the cards that are most affected by Lamentis destroying our entire deck. So I choose to play in here, try and get a little bit more information, and the Spider-Ham, they're picking out only a 3-cost card. I see that the high end of their deck is completely missing off of the Lamentis pull. I also know that with the Korg having been played previously, there's a good chance the opponent got a rock instead of a real card added into their deck. They snap, even with the pinch that I'm putting on them from the potential rock draw, which I just get validated here that they did have a rock, Spider-Ham having taken a card away from them, and I'm holding Black Bolt here. I know that if they play Death, who's likely free, I can either knock it out of hand with Death, or if they had played it earlier, I know that I could have destroyed it with the Shang Chi. My opponent still makes an incredibly valiant run of it. These combos of being able to consume the Sabretooth, scale the Wolverine, pop the Winter Soldier, they have the ideal self-destruction draw. But here, with Shang-Chi able to knock over the Venom and the freedom of the Captain Marvel to reposition, it leaves us very happy and very open to being able to take the win. I checked, and they only have 2 cards in hand at this moment. It's their pigged out card and then the free Sabretooth. Running the quick maths, it's a guaranteed win for our side, with the Captain Marvel being able to reposition and then counter wherever the opponent chooses to invest their resources. We accept the play. The opponent accepts as well, drops everything on mid, which is not really what you want to do up against a Captain Marvel that you know can reposition away. We flip, kill off the Venom, and take the 4-cube lead. This one was feeling incredible, with Captain Marvel taking a load off our mental, and then the Black Bolt Ham combo really pinching our opponent. In match 2 here, I feel I could have, watching this back, snapped a little bit earlier because we hit the insane combo. Iron Lad, Rock Slide, both on Kamartaj. The Iron Lad copied the Rock Slide. So the opponent's entire deck is rocks at this point. And we do hold the Hawk. We're holding the Jeff. Because I didn't get the Zabu for combo potential and I was looking at a really clunky hand, that could have been the reason in game that I didn't snap earlier. We take it there, but the opponent's able to retreat just for 1. Next match, the opponent's able to clear out the Ninja with the Deathlock, pop the Bucky at the same time, but we're very happy with the combos that we've set up. Again, we have the flexibility of the Captain Marvel, and then Rock Slide Hawk dropping in here is going to put a lot of pressure on our opponent. This was one, again, I think that I was playing just a little bit too cagey for my own good, and that we could have been more aggressive earlier on. Showing the snap here, the opponent just retreats. We're still ironclad here at 10 health up against 4, and we look to be able to close out as soon as we can. We're still in the low stakes rounds. We've had a great windfall, good fortune in terms of locations and draws, and we're looking good yet again with Zabu right on curve. It's night or day with this deck to be able to play the Zabu on curve or not. This is going to prevent us from playing our 4-cost to Crimson Cosmos, and then Oscorp Tower is going to make Zabu betray us. It's an interesting piece. The opponent gets the extra power. They're not really going to be able to make any use of the energy cheat because they haven't shown a single 4-cost yet. It's mostly just taking away my access to the energy cheat. I know Captain Marvel can fly back to the Crimson Cosmos, and I know if I draw Black Bolt, I can invest him on mid as well. We play Rock Slide. The opponent had to, because of their draws, invest the Venom a little bit early. He's vulnerable to the Shang Chi, and then we have the Jeff as well. I pile in all on left to be able to free up the Captain Marvel potentially to reposition. With the nuance of the power levels, she would be able to either help out mid or top the opponent on right if the opponent doesn't choose to invest any cards there. They play mid and right. Deathlock destroying Zabu and Wolverine here is interesting. It does scale the Wolverine, but then it's just a net neutral. That's 4 points for the 4 points that they had before. I don't think the opponent fully understood how Asteroid M was going to jack with their battle plan, because Deathlock and Sabretooth both get ripped left. I killed the Venom, take the lead with the Jeff, and we edge them out again with the opponent developing more total power, but that big block of 12-0 is an overcommitment, and we are able to take the win. Ooh, it feels excellent. Moving on to round 3. Opponent is playing another destruction deck. This is round 4. Excuse me. Round 4. This destruction deck is a slightly different flavor, running the Squirrel Girl, the Yondu, creating these other cheap tokens to be able to give them access to a very cheap death. We just have a good run in that first game to be able to take the advantage. Both of us playing KG, trying to feel out the decks, especially because he showed the Squirrel Girl early. I was wondering what he really had to be able to show. Game 2, we have been able to amp ourselves up on Mur Island quite a bit, but the opponent did win White Hot Room. They were leveraging the destruction deck's advantage of being able to fill up the location, get the benefit, but then run to the destruction to leave open space to scale it on later. So even with the Shang-Chi able to clap the Venom, I wasn't feeling like we were able to handle the opponent with that extra energy injected into their game plan. Next match, and again, we're at 9 health, then 9 health, 2 KG opening matches. We've felt out the opponent. We know all of their cards except 2, and then we knock the Null out of their hand with the Black Bolt. The opponent committed all of their cheap cards to the Quantum Tunnel, and the Quantum Tunnel game plan is just broken completely because of the Hawks. We were smart enough to snap early, understanding that the Hawks would break their ability to use that location, and we gain a slight advantage. Coming into the match with Sinister London here, both of our decks are on an insane high roll. Both of our decks make really incredible use of the Sinister London. We get multiple Jeffs here. We get load up their deck with the Rock Slides, but they've been destroying the Wolverines, the Sabretooth. They've destroyed a lot of cards total to be able to amp up the Null and be able to see a very cheap death. We're going to go Iron Lad here to be able to see what we find. We fish, we hit Black Bolt, and we knock the Sabretooth out of their deck. Oh, man. Knocking them out of hand feels incredible. Repositioning the Jeffs to be able to find our roll. We drop Hawk. We know Hawk is enormous. We play Zabu as well because I recognize that the opponent with Death and Null together is still incredibly dangerous. We don't snap here. But after having developed so much value out of the double Rock Slide into the Hawk, and on the good suspicion that the Rocks would have been able to break up their combos, we roll it, opponent shows a single card, it was Null. I was running some quick maths, it didn't end up being large enough to be too scary. The opponent running a lot of smaller cards rather than large pieces, big chunky Null destructions, and we take the advantage. Now we're looking at Project Pegasus reveals early, snaps and snaps back. The opponent shows Null right out the gate. We have Korg, Captain Marvel, All I need is the Shang Chi to be able to take out this null, and throughout the entire course of the game, he never materializes. We still develop as much as we can, but because of both the confidence on both sides out of the Project Pegasus, the rapid snaps, and then my dramatic advantage in terms of health bar, I go ahead and roll, even though if the cube situation had been different, I would have retreated this match. This one, they just outpaced us, and it's going to look embarrassingly bad at the end here without Shang-Chi to be able to level one of these locations if we had found it. Oh, if we could have found it. 5 cubes down, and my opponent is right back in the match. Very bold play of theirs that set up the null so arrogantly, but they were unpunished. Next game, and we're looking at the Evolt from our opponent. They rushed in a lot of commitment to it early, maybe a little bit too early, even putting the rock in. We have extra energy from the super flow that could have thrown them off as to understanding what turn in the game it was. They are able to lend the additional buffs on the Vault because of the Nova, which they do destroy right here with the Death Block. But we were anticipating this. Committing the Captain Marvel leaves us 1 point ahead of where the opponent is, and we are able to set up the Zabu here. Great turn 5 play to be able to open up the play of 2 4-cost cards on turn 6. That's what makes Zabu decks really sing at the moment. So we have the Hawk, the Shang-Chi, we have the Korg as well. Looking fantastic here. The opponent just bows out. 3 health to 4. White Hot Room shows. Asgard is here. The opponent snaps with the early lead on the White Hot Room, and I have to make the snap decision right here, understanding that he has the tools with all of these cheap cards in his deck to be able to grab the win and then run a destruction to still clear it and commit cards later. I just don't think that I can play into this without the ability of winning White Hot Room myself, and we are down 2 health to 3. Looking at having to win back-to-back matches here. We've been able to set up cards quite cleanly. Zabu, Rock Slide, Stature. Committing the Spider Ham on right. They play Venom on left. It is vulnerable to the Shang-Chi. This is feeling excellent for us. They have 15 points developed, and that's a 14-point null that just got hammed out. Grand Central is going to be able to pull one of our cards. I play the Shang-Chi now to the Venom. Now, if any of you guys know this interaction, or if you are surprised at it, we're in for a nasty one here. Death drops on Danger Room. Killmonger clears. We have the Iron Lad. We play Killmonger Korg. I'm feeling incredibly confident because it completely left my mind that Null, when pigged, maintains his power. None of the other ongoing cards do this, but Null does. If you guys play Pig very much, I should have known this. It completely slipped my mind. And now with the tie, I have to still win back-to-back games. Bar Sinister flips TVA, and then little Jeff comes in clutch. The Loyalist Land Shark lands on Bar Sinister, giving me unlimited play flexibility. This is the match-saving play with his smiling little sharky face multiplied by 4. Freedom of being able to reposition wherever and however we want. The opponent has no location-altering effects, and neither do I. We see their entire deck at this point. You can remember that the pig is death. We're playing Spider-Ham just for the points. The opponent plays Venom, looking to be able to scale the Wolverine. We pick out a card that's inconsequential, and then we have the flexibility of dropping the Jeffs. And then, following up with Captain Marvel, it's actually unparalleled play flexibility. The opponent has no shot at being able to play through this. Max of 2 cubes here, so they just play it out. Sabretooth appears, Nova for a single point, and we take the win. Bringing us to the nail biter, almost never seen, round 10. Because we have both played very cagey up to this point, and then we had that tie later on as well. I've almost never seen round 10, and I'm not sure I've ever seen beyond round 10. Project Pegasus activates again, and if we remember, this was a massive win for my opponent the last time Project Pegasus appeared. We're going to play Black Bolt as a potential here. Trying to think about what combos I wanted to be able to play. Having a great amount of energy, very generous amount of energy to deal with. They play Null. It's the exact same plan. Null on left, but this time we're holding the Shang-Chi. We knock the Venom out of their hand with the Black Bolt, and I get a little bit of a sinking feeling because that's a card that would have scaled the Null, who's very vulnerable to the Shang-Chi. We take another card away with the Spider-Ham. They set up the Sabretooth. I play Iron Lad. I clip the Killmonger. That's a bunch of kills, potentially for the null, but sewer system holding it back a little bit farther. We're looking at Captain Marvel here for the flexibility, and then we have a final turn trying to use Shang Chi. We're looking for them to run a big destruction so that I can capitalize on killing the null. They show Pig. They're down to just having to play the Pig cards for tempo. Stature pops, and it's 1 point. 1 point under what Shang Chi would be able to take away. So this is it. This is the match. 9-0, 9-9, 10-3. We do have a total point advantage. We have Hawk, we have Korg, flexibility on the Jeff, flexibility on the Captain Marvel. Completely abandoning the null lane at this point, looking to be able to commit as much as we can on right, hoping to be able to get the Captain Marvel free to reposition. I'm looking at the opponent, expecting them to dive in aggressively on mid. They only have one card in hand. Between the attack of the Black Bolt, the extra energy from Project Pegasus, they are thinned out. But I'm expecting that they need to go mid to be able to amp up the null, expecting that to be the game plan. They actually go right instead, but we had calculated it out to be able to be just enough in case they played the death. And if the death had gone mid instead, the Captain Marvel reposition would have still sealed the deal. Oh, my heart couldn't take it. That run back with the snag on the tie was just tearing me to pieces. Round 4 goes through. On to round 5, the final battle. We have picked the mascot of the deck, Black Bolt himself. He's been a heavy lister to be the recipient of the avatar here, rolling up against the mirror match. It is good cards versus good cards. My opponent rocking Luke Cage as a little bit of a tech card. He also has the Enchantress, and he has the Legion instead. So for the location interaction rather than the extra hand attack from our Black Bolt stature. Look at the deck. Oh, such a thrilling battle to be able to get here. I'm going to throw you guys over to the play-by-play that I recorded for round 5. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you play something that is under Shang-Chi range, Captain Marvel moves over, and I win. Aha! Yeah.
Victory.
It's very good, very good. We had to make sure that they didn't take initiative from us there. Or that we didn't take initiative from them. So I don't think we could have snapped earlier. But I was quite confident they were going to play the Legion, which is why I made the play at all. 6. Black Bolt feels good, and then I can still just roll into the Zabu, but I could also play Spider-Ham. Let's go Black Bolt here. Take away your Zabu, that's huge. Didn't want to leave. Come on. What now? Will they all reveal at the same time? As whatever it happens to be? Or now are these two forever going to be nebulous, and this one will only the right will reveal? They all reveal to what? No. No way. I'm supposed to play... Do you play Spider? I think you play Spider-Ham and you let it die. Just so that you're doing something, right? I got your Hawk. So big. Here we go. Hawk's out. Zabu's out. Of course, mine is as well. And I have Rock Slide, my own Hawk. Jeff, I love to see ya, buddy. Little buddy, you and me are gonna go places. Hip pap. Sure. Develop your own Rock Slide. Your Hawk is gone. Vaporized. Marvel. This. We're snapping, right? We're snapping? We have to snap. Big Hawk, Jeff, Captain Marvel, flexibility, taking away all their good toys. All their good toys. He still got moves. Killmonger for nothing. Spider Ham. No. No. Come on. Good. Oh, good. Victory. I think they realized they were just too. I mean, thank goodness we had whatever we drew was gonna. Oh, as long as it wasn't a rock. If we top decked a rock, I would have been really going off. We drew something that we could play, and the Captain Marvel again was going to be able to just secure it, lock it all up. Here we go. Zabu, compound, make him suffer. Etu Brutus. I think this is Fish with Iron Lad, and definitely attack Kiln. With Elysium, he can Legion Kiln. Alright. Where you been hiding that this whole time? I hate this. I love this. Captain Marvel grabs the buff. Remember, we are potentially playing on a very limited time clock with that Legion coming to kill him. So, careful, careful. Captain Marvel is a godsend in that regard, though. Oh, no. I kind of wanted that. Rockslide, oh, but now he is cheaper. If that matters in any way, I don't know if it does. So we can move Jeff and still play Legion, right? So if I play this, and then I play this, am I cooked? Are we cooked? If he moves, hang on. You move the Jeff, that's 6 power. Well, the Legion is +2, so you'll be at 17 total power. I will be sitting at 8, 15. I'll be down by 2, but then my Captain Marvel is 2 larger than your Jeff. And if I happen to draw my Jeff later on in the game, I will get the win. Here we go. It's not. All right. Play continues. And the Legion eats it right there. Is that a snap? Is that a snap for Team Teddy? With Captain Marvel's ability to be able to go mid, or just Jeff's ability to be drawn and then added to our forces, would be a snap. I don't know. I still don't know. You got a good run to build up your Hawk, and if I can't really play my own Hawk because of their Super Scroll, they can play theirs. Let's go ahead and play Rock Slide on left and then hold. You go double right. Pip back, pip back. Big pig. We just drew the rock. Oh, that does hurt. How big is Hawk? 12. Your Hawk is a 12er. Takes you up to 17. That is a problem. A big margin of victory problem. 1 card in hand. Is it the Hawk? On a 1 card, 1 out of 5. Ooh. Ooh. Oh man, oh man. Problem is that my stature, Shang Chi will not be able to pass on right. So I think the best play is try and free Captain Marvel up. I mean, if I do this, Captain Marvel could come over here and win, and that's like, it could be good in case they move the Jeff. Is this actually better? I don't know if this is better. You only have 1 card. They're just doing this because they know that I've taken a long time, not because they have anything good. Here we go. Ballsy play, ballsy play. Oh! Oh, Infinite! Yes! That was the call. It was the call. Team Teddy's one infinite win richer. Oh, yes. You can't stop your feet and scare us out. You know we're hanging in. I'll call that bluff. I will call it all day. Ah. Avatar. It's glorious. It's the same? Maybe one day they'll make these look a little bit better. They did improve the old version of the Infinite card border. That was terrible. All right, 2 tickets left. We got time to be able to run more back. If you guys enjoyed this trek through Infinite, you're going to have to let me know down in the comments below. It was super fun to be able to play, and man, we had some pop-off moments. Oh boy, you guys were here when we got that dub. Love to see it. If you guys pick this deck up, I think it is an incredibly good deck positioned in the meta right now, just to be competitive in effectively any matchup that you run up against. I hope that if you guys grab it on your own last chance runs up through Infinite, then it takes you all the way home. Till next time, thank you guys for watching. Keep on snapping.